Hey, what is up everybody? Aaron FPS here, and I'm actually on board right next to Valen. Both of our Twitters and everything, all the names will be in the or not in the description, but right under us. And we're just chilling here at GNKnoxville, great event in Knoxville, Tennessee. And I'll go ahead and let Valen actually introduce himself.
Yep, so for all those of you who don't know me, my name is Valen. Very popular in the Halo community, getting involved in COD, and I gotta say this weekend has been awesome so far. We do want to go ahead and apologize for some of the technical difficulties we've had up to this point. But man, Call of Duty, it's serious. I'm loving it.
Especially competitive Call of Duty. Like, actually a few years ago, or a few months ago, I didn't know that competitive Call of Duty existed, like competitive making like thing. I just didn't see it. Like, I thought of it as like kind of like a fun competition with like friends and stuff.
Yeah.
But really, I just didn't know that number one, there was like Call of Duty codcasters and players as well, like pro players and stuff. I just think it's a really cool thing. Like competitive Call of Duty to me, something that I really just kind of picked up a few months ago, and it's just different.
Yeah, I love it. I'm not trying to compare the games, but man, the competition, the atmosphere is the same, and that's the reason why I competed in the first place. So, man, one thing I'll tell you is I'm really looking forward to some of the trash talk, some of the hype.
Yeah.
We have it here. So, one thing we want to go ahead and give a quick shout out to all of our sponsors real fast. So, BenQ, Iron Gaming, Elgato, 812, Gum, Opponent Wear, and Insight Designs. Thank you all if you guys are watching. Thank you all for your support in gaming, not just here for Gamer Nation, but also for gamers everywhere.
Exactly.
So actually a part of what we're going to talk about also is we did have some technical difficulties we are going into. We have already started pool play, so that's something we are going to determine the seeds for our tournament going into tomorrow, and I believe later on tonight.
Later on tonight we'll be starting bracket play later on tonight, so that's what we're doing, pool play.
Okay, so real quick, we're going to be running giveaways all throughout the weekend, and there are a couple requirements, so you guys will need to tweet. We'll be giving away, just to show you real fast, we have some Iron Gaming t-shirts. We got some Gamer Nation gear. We
also have Elgato t-shirts. We got a couple of these to give away to you guys. And like he was saying, we just wanted to apologize for all the technical difficulties. And really, as far as live shows go, I mean, as far as show matches that I do online and stuff like that, it's really hard to go through a live show without having at least one sort of technical difficulty, be it audio, video. I'm trying to, yeah, exactly, like trying to get connected with everybody. So, I mean, it's kind of hard, but then again, I mean, we're here for you guys now, and of course, we're going to be bringing you guys some great games. So what do you say? Let's start it off with a giveaway, something.
Sure,
we got to give back to you guys for all this time you've had to wait. It doesn't really matter, guys. We will be giving back to you guys, and like he was saying at the beginning, so many giveaways for you guys this weekend. We have shirts, we have the 812 Gaming Gum, one of our sponsors. I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, it does get you energized, definitely. I had a couple before. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I had a couple, two of the pieces.
We've really been using the 812 as an energy drink substitute.
Yeah.
I've been able to stay hydrated with my water and then pop my 812. So this is actually something we'll be giving away also, is these cases, this entire case of 812 gum.
Yeah, exactly, guys. So look, okay, so right here, we're not just giving away like one where it's just like one, I guess it could be like an equal to an energy drink. Not just one, but we're giving away the entire, like this entire case right here. Probably, I think it's 10 little cases or little packets of the gum. So, I mean, these entire cases will be given away to you guys. And what do you say? What should we give away first? We just start off with Iron Gaming t-shirt?
Let's start it off with the Iron Gaming t-shirt. So,
no problem.
For you guys today, we're going to be doing these giveaways all throughout the weekend. There are a couple requirements. Make sure that when you tweet that you are hashtagging GNKnoxville, and the hashtag for the Iron Gaming t-shirt giveaway will be hashtag IG giveaway. Make sure that you are following at Iron Gaming in order to win those prizes. So that's the first one we're going to go ahead and throw out to you guys. Hashtag GNKnoxville, hashtag IG giveaway. Make sure you're following Iron Gaming to win that.
Exactly. So how we're going to do the giveaways, how we're going to pick the winners and stuff like that, what we're going to do is search the specific hashtag for whatever we're going to be giving away. So you can enter in for all of these giveaways. What we're going to do is, let's just say, like he said, it's going to be hashtag IG giveaway for the Iron Gaming t-shirt. And all you got to do, hashtag IG giveaway, hashtag GNKnoxville, and then follow Iron Gaming. And how we're going to pick the winners, like I just said a second ago, what we're going to do is search that hashtag, and all the hashtags that come up, and all the people that have hashtagged all those different things will be, it'll show up once we search it, and then we'll pick a random winner from there. But guys, don't go anywhere. I mean, for any of this entire competition, we have so many giveaways for you guys, t-shirts, gum, all that good stuff.
Yep. So one thing that I want to talk about right now is we've thrown out all of our sponsors. We got a quick shout out to all of that. We talked about just introducing COD, but one thing that I want to bring up to you right now is I've done a lot of learning this weekend, and
exactly.
Like I said, it's been a lot of fun. The competition it's surprisingly the same, but one thing I want to ask you from just a Call of Duty perspective, in the competitive scene, I noticed that a lot of the things are the same as far as at the tournament. So one big thing that I actually I meant to tweet this out, but I never got the chance to. One thing that I was curious about was at the tournament, like how do players prefer their screens? So I know that sounds kind of weird, but I know for me, while I competed, one big thing for me was having my screens touching. Like I like to be able to see my teammate's screen, and that was a big thing during setup. So I kind of pulled some of the players aside, and I was like, "Hey guys, I'm a little new to this scene, but what do you guys like? Like what is it? Do you prefer that?" And everyone, it was like a resounding yes. So
if they're apart,
together, to prefer to watch the screen. I got some people saying, "Oh well, it's you don't have a lot of time. The game is so quick." I've heard a lot of that this weekend. The game is so quick, and I've watched players just dropping like flies. But they did prefer to have those screens together, and the reason why I thought that was important, especially in S&D.
I was actually going to make that point.
Exactly, and so it seemed like that's just one of the game types where you have to know where your teammates are at, and you have a mini map, obviously, just like in any first-person shooter. But that's huge to be able to just look over, glance really fast, and know to make a decision. I know that a big thing in S&D and a big thing in Blitz is knowing where your teammates are at and say, if we're covering one side of the map, I need to make sure that I'm pushing to the other side, or vice versa, whatever the situation.
Well, I mean, it kind of goes in with communication. I mean, you always have, especially in competitive Call of Duty or really any competitive sport in that aspect. I mean, you have to have good competition. And as far as with the screens having to touch, I mean, like you said, it does play really good parts in S&D. Not only for you being able to, when you're playing, you can see your teammate also. Just one of the things that it can make it, I guess, maybe two sets of eyes on your screen. So maybe one person's playing, the person sitting next to you maybe dies. Well, they can also watch your screen and maybe even say like, oh, he's up there, oh, he's up there. Also, it could be kind of a little bit of, I guess, distraction for them, so they might not like that. And also, I mean, you guys know third-person spectating is actually banned, so you don't see the actual players. But what happens is when you're playing Search and Destroy and you die, they actually have to put the controller down, so they don't have any. They don't have any sort of. I mean, they're not able to control what's happening and look around maybe in third-person mode.
Maybe have those advantages that you might not have in a different first-person shooter. So. So I was going to comment on what you were saying a second ago about the whole screen watching deal. Is I noticed that just like with this game and any other game, when you're working with a teammate and you're looking at a screen, sometimes you have players that aren't necessarily the most talkative. So for calling out and things like that, I noticed that back in the day when you had certain players that just got in the zone and they just maybe forgot to call something out, and sometimes you have more talkative players. I noticed in watching some of these games earlier that there's some teams that some guys just zone in. You have one very talkative, one very vocal person just constantly looking at screens saying, hey, so-and-so, you need to push here. Hey, you need to be talking about this. So I noticed that having that was indeed a big deal also in Call of Duty. So
I mean, as far as communication, like me personally, whenever I'm playing like competitive game battles matches or anything, I try to stay as talkative as possible. But the thing is, like when you get down to like the wire, maybe playing Search and Destroy, one of the biggest things is that you want your teammates to kind of be quiet. Sometimes in Search and Destroy, really what you have to do is kind of just hone in on your senses, hone in on your hearing, and that's really one of the biggest things in Search and Destroy. One of the big things, of course, you can't use Amplify, but you can use Dead Silence. In this game specifically, I know other Call of Duty games, Modern Warfare 2, if you had Dead Silence on, it kind of just completely took out your footsteps altogether. But if you have a pretty good headset, then you will be able to pick up almost any sound in the game. Even if they have Dead Silence, I've noticed that you can't, you can still hear the footsteps that are going around. So hearing is definitely a big part of this game.
So I noticed that was also a big thing with just all the perks. So some of the questions I was asking coming in, I was saying, okay, well, what about I know player roles, I understand how that works, but what about some of the perks and things like that? I was talking to a team earlier. I said, do you guys strategize? Maybe certain people pick, like maybe half your team picks smoke grenades, or maybe the other half just the stun grenades, something along the lines of that. So I was very interested. I love the fact that in this game, in Call of Duty, there's a lot more strategy that goes into it than people think. You think Call of Duty, you think run and gun. That's all you got going on, but it's really even more technical than some of the other titles. So I'm really interested to see how players take advantage of some of those perks and some of those grenade different options, things of that nature.
I mean, yeah, you're completely right. It just depends. Like me personally, like I was saying, like at the beginning when I first even started talking, I didn't know competitive was a thing, and even with Call of Duty being a competitive sport, you have to have strategy, like football, like soccer, like anything. You have to, if you're going for like, let's say a touchdown, you have to like have a specific play. Well, in Call of Duty, whenever I explain like this kind of stuff to like my parents or anything, I'm like competitive Call of Duty, and I kind of lose them at that point right there. It's like,
you had him at call.
Like what is competitive? You can competitively play Call of Duty, but I mean, as far as any other sport, you have to have strategies. I mean, a lot of these games you'll see specific game modes, whatever ones you're playing, usually never a silencer, but besides that, you'll see maybe one person running an AR as well as like the rest of the team running submachine guns, but it just all depends on what kind of game mode you're using. And that's what I really like about competitive Call of Duty, is just the fact that it's not just playing a video game like some other people that you might come out of nowhere and they like kind of ask them. It's not just playing Call of Duty. There's a lot of strategy. I mean, each of these teams, I'm sure, just grind this game completely. I'm playing tons of competitive games, GBs and stuff like that, and that's what really makes them great players.
Man, I got to tell you, another thing that was really big for me was coming in and then learning all this. I was like, man, coming in I was excited because it's a new game. Any situation where I just have to adapt and learn a lot of new stuff, I love soaking along. My brain is a sponge, so I love learning new things. But I am overly excited, way more excited than I thought it was going to be, because this game, like we just talked about, there's so much more to it than what people really think. When you think Call of Duty, you think run and gun, like, oh, my 12-year-old plays that and he screams at the top of his lungs and now he's grounded. So they think automatically screaming children, but this game is so much fun to watch when you know what's going on and when the competition is hot. And that's really looking forward to kind of segue into what we might be going into. Is there's a team, the team name is Karizma, and I talked to one of their players, Prefix, and he's just been really helpful. He's one of the guys from the Halo scene, so he was kind of able to help me out and help me learn some of this new stuff. And man, I'm very, very excited to watch them play. They're the one team that's been really hot as far as trash talk. They've been very hyped. They've been bringing the energy in here. So I'm really looking forward to watching them play. And I guess what we could do now is maybe talk about the round that we're going into, a couple of game types.
So we're going into round 4, correct?
Correct. And one thing we are previously stated, this is pool play. So it's prior to bracket play. This is for seeding. We have 2 game types that these 2 teams are going to be playing. And I believe those are Domination Strike Zone and S&D on Warhawk.
Exactly. So for some of you guys that don't know what pool play is, I know in a lot of the other major circuits, UMG, MLG, they don't play pool play. I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe just because it takes a lot of time. Because it does. You have a lot of rounds that you have to go through. But what happens is you go through different rounds, and it's basically a best of 3. You have 2 rounds that are specifically set out. So let's just, for example, first round was Domination Freight, S&D Sovereign, and whoever, if one person or one team won that one, the next team won the S&D. Then they would go into a 3rd match. So like you said, we're going to be going into Domination Strike Zone and then S&D on Warhawk. So Domination, what is your thoughts on Domination?
I love the game type. Personally, after watching it all this weekend, I've really enjoyed just overall how you need to play it. So in Strike Zone is, in my opinion, the most intriguing out of all the maps for Domination. It's not a typical, one thing that I've learned is that your typical Domination game type is kind of lined up. All your capture zones are all lined up.
Yeah.
But with Strike Zone, it's different. With Strike Zone, you kind of have a triangle.
Yeah.
Exactly. So one thing that I love about the game type is rotation. And I gotta say, it's probably the biggest thing that goes into playing the game. In the middle is knowing when to rotate and knowing when you need to be pushing. One thing that I talked about is one thing that people think of Call of Duty is you're playing, you just run and gun. But really it's way more than that, especially in this game type. You really have to be careful where you're pushing, like if your team is stuck in B, there's so many choke points. It seems to be a big thing is kind of capturing that C and A and making sure you're watching those choke points from B and making sure that players don't push out. And talking to some of the teams around here, some of them were saying that there's several different strategies, but one